Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Goldberg for the Sales Pro Network. If you haven't joined us before, I'm a sales coach and trainer. I work with both individuals and organizations to help them get measurable and sustainable sales increases and to do so with integrity in order to feed their families, themselves, and their companies. I formed the Sales Pro Network about 3 years ago to elevate the profession of sales, to give salespeople a place where they can hang out, network with each other, ask questions, get advice. And if you've joined us before, you know that every Friday at 10 a.m., we typically do a live interview with somebody who can add value to the profession of sales. Today is an exception. We had a terrific guest lined up, but yesterday I was up in Buffalo doing some training for an organization of 25 salespeople, and I got a message from him saying that our guest couldn't make it today because something happened to his son and he had to rush home. We're hoping that everything is okay, and he and I are working on getting him rescheduled, probably for sometime mid or late March, because that's how far up in advance we're booked. We got a lot of great guests coming up. And again, we hope that everything's fine with his son. So today what I thought I'd do is I'll take any questions that you might have. By the way, if you're watching us live, please put your name in the comments, say hello. If you're watching us live on Facebook, but have not connected your account to StreamYard, your name is not going to show up. It's going to say Facebook user for me, so please do include your name. If you have any questions that I can help you with today, if you're working on a deal that you'd like some advice on, or anything else regarding sales or sales management, please put those in the comments and I'll be happy to answer those. But I did a webinar on Monday for let's see, I think about 125 people registered and 72 showed up. And it was about how do you end the year strong and how do you start next year off with a bang? And of course, part of that was to promote my new sales training videos. So what I thought I'd do today is, unless anybody has any questions, I will go through that presentation for you, and I'll just leave out the sales pitch at the end for the videos. Good morning, Bruce Gasserman. It's good to see you here, my friend. All right, so if you'll give me a moment, I will share my screen. And I'll see if I can't give you guys some advice about how to end your year strong. And of course, it's not coming up. Hang on, I got to click on the presentation again, and that should do the trick. Present, share screen. Here we go. All right. Okay, so the goal here is to give you some tips on how you can hit your target by the end of this year, because today is the 15th of September, so you've still got a few months left. Might not be easy for some of you, depending on how far you are from your goal. But if you're fairly close and just a little bit worried, here's some tips that might help you out. The first thing is you've got to understand where you are on the ladder of success. And if you take a look at the diagram that I'm showing you right now, it shows you that at the very bottom of the pyramid or the ladder of success for salespeople, you've got either a brand new salesperson, which I call a rookie, or you've got somebody who's been in sales quite a while but has never put in any effort to learn how to do it properly. So they're making about the amount of money and making the same mistakes that a rookie would. At the rookie level, they're clueless. You come into sales brand new, you don't know a thing about it. Maybe you've heard some rumors about it, but you don't know what to do. But you're really hopeful at that point. Most of us fall into sales by accident. Very few people that I know go to college to learn about how to sell. So at that point, you're hopeful. You think that I've heard that you can make a lot of money in sales, and I'm going to do what I can and see if I can cash in on some of that. But at the same time, a person like that is typically overloaded because there is so much to learn and so much to do if you're going to be successful in sales. And at that level, the rookie level, you not only don't know what to do, you don't know what you don't know what you should be doing, but you don't even know what you don't know. And you're overloaded because there is so much going on when you're going to sell effectively, between prospecting, selling, meeting with prospects, doing paperwork, going to meetings, and all that other stuff. Once you get past that level, you're at what I call the plotter level. And that's where I find most salespeople are. That's no insult to anybody who's listening or watching today, but a plotter is the average person on a sales team. On almost every sales team I've worked with, and I've worked with major corporations like Cisco Systems and Siemens and Citibank and Aramark, as well as smaller companies. But most of the sales team that I find in any sales organization are what I call plotters. This is your average salesperson. They are barely making it. They will occasionally hit their quota for the month, but certainly aren't going to hit it for the year. That's always way off in the distance. They're frustrated because they see other people who are doing well, but they just don't know what to do. They don't have the right strategy, and what they need is training. They need the right plans, the right tools, the right technologies, the right strategies, which of course a rookie needs. But at the plotter level, you should have learned this stuff already so that you don't stay there too long. At that point, your head is usually spinning. You know the potential to make as a lot of money is there, but you're confused because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're doing wrong. You're probably not willing to put in the effort. You're not reading books. You're not going to seminars. Your company is certainly not investing in you if you work for somebody else. And it's a very difficult level, but that is where the vast majority of salespeople spend most of their career, at the plotter level. The next step up is what I call competence. This is where you've made it past rookie, you've made it past plotter, and you're actually doing pretty well. You're getting by, you're not making a ton of money, but the challenge here is your income is inconsistent. This is typically where we see a lot of the ups and downs of selling. So you've got a good month followed by a bad month, and then a good quarter followed by a bad quarter, a good paycheck followed by a bad paycheck, or 2 or 3 bad paychecks. And it's incredibly frustrating to be between the plotter and the competent level. But even at the competent level, it's still frustrating because even though you're getting by and you're doing okay, you know that you didn't go into sales just to do okay. The vast majority of us fall into sales by accident and stick around because we see that some people are doing incredibly well. And as we all know, that if you're not one of these people, but you certainly know people who are making a lot of money in sales. And of course, a lot of money is relative. To some people, a lot of money might be 75,000. To other people, it's 500,000. But both of those are certainly doable in almost every type of sale. And if you're not in a sale where you have an unlimited opportunity to earn and can earn 100,000, 150, 200, 250 or more, then there's lots of opportunities out there where you might do better. Somebody at the competent level is typically busy, but not productive. In fact, at every level, you're busy. I rarely meet salespeople that aren't busy, but often they're not productive. And at the competent level, again, you're getting by. You're better than a plotter. You're better than a rookie. Certainly, you've made some sales, you missed some, but you're frustrated because it's just not happening the way you want it to be. But here's the cool thing: at the competent level, you've got some real possibility because you're close. You know there's more, you're just not sure how to get it. And this is really where I would advise anybody: get a coach, read a book, go to a seminar. Consistent learning, consistently investing in yourself to be the best possible salesperson you can be. There's lots of coaches just like me out there who are willing to help if you're willing to invest in yourself. And of course, you can pay to go to public seminars. You can still be watching your free YouTube videos, but you should be consistently working on your skills. You should speak to someone who is not yourself, of course, who can maybe take a look at what you're doing and give you some advice on: here's where I see the missing. Here's where I see what you're lacking. You're doing really well with this, but you're not doing so well with that. So this is where somebody else giving you some advice can help you focus on: what do I really need to learn? What is it that I really need to invest in? What's missing that will take me up to that next level? I'll give you an example. So I'm pretty great at sales. I don't need to learn more about sales, although I do still read just about every book that comes out, because I always want to be the best I can be, and I want to be able to pass on ideas to the people that I'm working with. But one thing I don't know about is how to market my online sales training program. So I came out with these programs. I worked on them very, very hard, and I'm incredibly proud of them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I think they're priced to really make a difference to a huge number of people, because I did not make it into a high ticket item, but I don't know well how to market them. So I'm reading books regularly. I'm reading books. I'm speaking to other people. I've invested thousands of dollars in courses on how to sell your products online, because I just don't have that experience. I'm an expert at selling B2B, and I'm an expert at selling B2C when I'm dealing directly with people in both products and services, but I've never sold a product online where you're not actually speaking directly to your prospect. So I'm learning. I'm reading books. Here's a new one I just got. 100. I don't know if you guys can see my what I'm holding up or not, but it's called $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. I just read his book, $100 Million Offers, and I'm learning everything I possibly can. And if you want to get to the superstar level, then that's what you need to do: invest in yourself. So competent is certainly better than plotter or rookie, but there's still that extra there that you're just missing. And sometimes it's only a little bit. You're only missing by just a little bit. And of course, at the highest level, you are a superstar. Now, in my experience, there aren't many superstars out there. Almost every really large organization has some, but if you want to get to that superstar level, That's where you're going to feel incredibly confident. That's where you really know what your process is. You have a prospecting strategy in place. You're knowledgeable, you're consistent, and you're steadily making big dollars at the highest levels consistently, month after month after month, quarter after quarter. At the superstar level, you have mastery of your sales process, your prospecting process, your pipeline management. You know what you're doing. And typically, superstars, even though they're already doing really well, they invest in themselves. They're consistent learners and consistent earners. So just regardless, stay tuned to learn how to go from clueless to confident at the bottom. I'm not going to pitch you on my programs here today, but I do want to give you a couple of more tips that I think will help you close out your year well. First one is prospect. Do not give up on your prospecting, whether it's closing out this year well, setting up next year, or anything else. I don't like prospecting either. I really don't. There are some things that I dislike more than others, but like, for example, cold calling, I still think it's one of the most cost-effective and time-efficient ways to fill up your calendar with appointments if you don't have enough, but I don't like doing it. But the key to success, other than knowing how to sell, and those are different keys to success, but the keys to making a lot of money in sales are consistent and effective prospecting. And you need to be using a blended approach. Unless you've figured out a system of doing one thing that is consistently bringing you a constant lead of highly qualified prospects, you need to be trying everything. At least everything that you're willing to do. So if you're not willing to cold call like me, then get good at other stuff like networking, like LinkedIn and other social media, like referrals, like direct mail, like email. There's a lot of different things you can be doing to increase your sales by speaking to enough prospects. And I've said this before, I don't care how good you are at sales. If you aren't speaking with enough prospects, you can't possibly close enough business unless you believe in luck. And personally, I think you make your own luck in sales. So if you're waiting to get lucky, it's like using hope as a strategy. And any coach will tell you, hope is not a great strategy. So consistent and effective prospecting will not only help you end the year strong, assuming you've got a reasonably short sales cycle, less than maybe 8 weeks, but it will also set up your 2024. So I'll give you an example. I sell 4 different services, and one of them is sales training. When I sell sales training, I have an 8-week sales cycle. So that means today being September 15th, if I meet with somebody today for the very first time to discuss the possibility of them using me to train their sales team, that means I'm not going to close that deal till mid-November. So I could still prospect today and get some appointments maybe by the end of this month and close some deals at the end of November or in December. But most of what the prospecting I'm doing right now is to start out my Q1, to set up my 2024 for success. Anytime you stop prospecting or slow down your prospecting, somewhere down the line, depending on what your average sales cycle is, you're just not going to have enough prospects to close enough business. So if you want to end this year strong and start 2024 with a bang and make that your best year ever, you got to keep prospecting. The second thing I would urge everybody to do is use a proven and repeatable process for selling. If you don't have one, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But there are lots and lots of sales processes out there that work really, really well, and a ton of them that work really, really poorly. But you don't have to overcomplicate it. I suggest you want to have your process be as simple as you possibly can. Whatever process you're using, I don't care. And I don't care what you call it. Call it consultative selling or spin selling or anything else. But you want to find some kind of a system that works really, really well on a regular basis, and you want to stick with that until it's not working anymore. Amateurs wing it. Professionals plan and repeat and repeat and repeat without making it too difficult. The more difficult the system you have, the less likely you are to use it. Like there's a book I often recommend to people called The Challenger Sale. I really like The Challenger Sale. The challenge with The Challenger Sale is it's very, very difficult to implement. It's hard to do. I like the thinking behind it. It's just hard to do. And for most of us, we know what the KISS theory is. If you're going to be politically correct, you can say, keep it simple, Sam, or as we used to say, keep it simple, stupid. And you want to make sure you are committed. I always tell new coaching prospects, I don't care what you want. I don't care what you hope for. I don't care what your dreams are. I don't care what your wishes are. As a human being, I care about those things. But as your coach, I only care about one thing, and that is what are you willing to commit to? because commitment is what drives everything. I can want to do a lot of stuff. I heard Sofia Vergara is single or is getting divorced. I want to date her. I'm probably not going to come through on that because I'm certainly not committed to dating her. She doesn't know who I am. And I would have to suggest she's at a different level than I am. It's unlikely that I'm going to meet Sofia Vergara and get her to go out with me. I'm not committed to that. But you should be committed to achieving your personal goal, both by the end of this year and also in 2024 and going on. And you want to stay focused on that goal. One of the things I suggest everybody should do is make a sign for yourself that you can hang in your office or wherever it is that you work on a regular basis with your goal on it and stare at it constantly. There are three types of learners. Most people know that: visual, audio, and kinesthetic. We all use all three, but we all have a dominant one. And for me, my dominant one is visual learning. So I create signs for myself all over my office. In other words, I'm talking to myself, and the sign that's right behind well, there are two signs behind my monitor. One of them asks the question, are you doing the thing at this moment that's most likely to result in income? And I focus on that sign to make sure I stay with doing the right things, revenue generating activities, as opposed to all the other stuff that gets in the way. And the other one is my financial goal for the year. Because if you believe in the law of attraction, then you want to be focused on your goal consistently, because what you focus on consistently and feel the right feelings about and think the right thoughts about and take the right actions about tends to be attracted into your life. So you want to stay focused on your goal and ignore shiny object syndrome. I'm as guilty as everyone out there of, oh, here's the latest thing I should be looking at. Well, when you stay focused on your goal, you're less likely to go onto the side like a dog goes squirrel. So stay focused on your goal and ignore all that other stuff. And don't waste time. One of the things I find very often with my coaching clients and with training organizations is that salespeople tend to waste a lot of time. You don't have time to waste. Neither do I. I want you to guard your time jealously and viciously, just like a mother lion protects her cubs. Stop wasting time chasing prospects that aren't interested. The people who are ghosting you, the people who don't return your calls, don't return your emails, won't give you a next step. This is where we typically are making call after call and sending email after email saying, I'm just following up. Just want to hear if you're ready to make a decision. That voicemail, when you say I'm just following up, really means, hey, did you decide to do business with me but forget to let me know? No. Prospects do not forget to let you know when they want to do business with you. They actually do reach out and let you know. But we salespeople are typically not very good at listening for the no, because you need to get good at that, because people often say no in a lot of different ways without actually using the word no. Like when you're getting ghosted, when people aren't responding to your calls and your emails, what they're telling you is it's no, at least for right now. Now, I want to qualify that by saying, when I say no, at least for right now, that doesn't mean that somebody who says no now in any way, shape, or form can't become your client in a month, in a year, or some other time. In fact, today is Friday, the 15th of September. Yesterday, I was in Buffalo, New York. And by the way, when I announced on Facebook that I was going to Buffalo, everybody said, is it snowing there? Apparently, it snows a lot in Buffalo, and I didn't realize that. Actually, I did know that, but I didn't know the extent. But I was up in Buffalo working with a bunch of salespeople, doing training all day, and I was telling them the exact same things. You got to keep following up and stop chase, but don't chase prospects that aren't interested. People say no in a lot of ways, and actually, the company I worked with yesterday is a perfect example. They reached out to me a year ago, said no at the time, and then contacted me a couple of months ago and said, hey, we didn't use you last year, but we'd like to use you this year. So it doesn't mean when somebody says no that they're never going to work with you, but you don't want to waste a lot of time chasing people who aren't interested. Let me think it over, follow up with me later, or I'll follow up with you later. I have to talk to my friend. I have to talk to my partner. I have to talk to my husband or wife. Well, it's not that people don't need time to think it over. And it's not that you shouldn't follow up with them later. You shouldn't give them time to talk to their partner or their wife or anybody else, but you should be focused on the people who are actively engaged with you, who are returning your calls, who are returning your emails, and who are setting next meetings with you, because those people have a much better chance of choosing to do business with you than those who are not. And please make sure that you are actively seeking out referrals from your happy clients, from people who say they do not want to do business with you. Ask everyone for referrals, because a well-made referral takes you halfway to the sale. If somebody is willing to make a referral for you and they make the introduction properly, the person they're introducing to you is halfway closed before you even meet with them, because somebody else is using their influence, their relationship to get you in the door. So make sure you're asking for referrals. That's a great way to make certain you're going to end the year strong, and set up 2024 for success. And finally, I want you to stay both busy and productive now. One thing I would urge everybody to do is to have an accountability partner. Now, when I say accountability partner, I don't mean you have to hire a coach like me to hold you accountable. And that is certainly something that I do with my coaching clients. But you know other people that you can become an accountability partner with right now. Or as they said on South Park in one episode, an accountability buddy. So an accountability partner is simply somebody that you speak with on a regular basis. Could be every day. Typically, I advise once a week, which is fine. And all you do is set up a call or a meeting. Maybe you have lunch together once a week, or breakfast together once a week, or you get on a Zoom call or a phone call. But you simply make promises to each other and hold each other accountable. I used to have a group called TAG, T-A-G, which stood for the Accountability Group. There were 5 of us in it, including myself. This was before the days of video conferencing. And we would get on a phone call every Monday morning at 7 a.m. And from 7 to 7:25, we each had 5 minutes to make promises to each other and hold each other accountable. So one week we'd make the promises. The next week we would get on the call and say, hey, last week I said I would do this, and I did it, in which case we would all applaud. Or we say, last week I said I would do this and I didn't do it, in which case we would give each other a hard time, because we expect people to keep their word. It's easy to break your word to yourself. It's harder to break your word to somebody else. My personal experience is most people will work way harder to keep their word when they make a promise to someone else than themselves, to someone other than themselves. So get an accountability partner. Use a process, and remember to work with focus and velocity. Focus means focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is a myth. It's been proven scientifically that your brain can only focus on one thing at any given nanosecond. And when you try to focus on more things than one at a time, your brain gets tired from switching back and forth. I'm driving, I'm talking on the phone, I'm making dinner, I'm watching TV. You really work better and more effectively when you focus on one thing at a time, and be sure to do it with velocity. Work as fast as you possibly can without making mistakes, because the more you accomplish today, the more you can accomplish tomorrow. And please be sure that you're using calendarization. Everything goes on your calendar. Make sure 100% of the time that you never leave today without fully planning out tomorrow. Anytime you walk into your office, or you sit down at your desk and don't have something on your calendar to do first thing, you're going to waste 5 to 15 minutes just figuring out, well, what should I be doing now? And that's time you could be investing in doing something productive, a revenue generating activity. And the other challenge is, when we don't have something planned out, we often choose what's easiest to do or what's most fun to do. And those are not necessarily the things that are going to make you the most productive that you can possibly be. Okay, we're not going to do that. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to come back and see if there are any questions or anything that anybody wants to know. Okay. We said hello to Bruce. Good morning, John Hill. Thanks for joining us. Sorry that the guest didn't show up today. Again, I hope that his son is fine, and we'll reschedule him. I really wanted to hear what he was going to talk about today. I think it's going to be a great guest, and we'll try to get him in sometime in March. Unless there's a cancellation, I can get him in earlier. Ray Aurora, good to see you. This is great, Jeff. Thanks, Ray Aurora. Thank you, for saying that, Ray. I'll give you guys another minute. If anybody has a question that I can help you with right now, if you're working on a deal that you'd like some advice on, or if you just want some general advice about prospecting or selling or sales management, as I'm finishing up here, I'll give you a minute to type that in, and I'm happy to answer it. If not, we're going to cut this short today. And hang on, I'll take a very quick look and see if I can preview our guest for next week, because I don't remember who it is. 1 second. Well, hopefully somebody's typing in a question. Next week, we've got Amarpreet Kalkat from Humantic Humantic AI. I actually can't remember what Humantic AI is, but I wouldn't have booked Amarpreet unless he was going to be a great guest. So tune in next week for our next guest, hopefully who doesn't have any emergencies and who actually shows up. In the meantime, I can tell you right here on Long Island, where I live, it went from blazingly hot over the last 5 days to chilly, and I'm wearing long sweatpants today. So we had a very mild summer, very beautiful and mild summer, then 5 days or 7 days of like really intense heat and humidity, and now we've switched to late fall. So wacky, but we're having fun anyways. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to thank you all for joining today, and I'll end as I always do. Please remember that sales is a game of making things happen, so get out there and make sales happen. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next